Just keep making eye contact with people out my window. Hi, my name is Ellie and welcome to my channel. So today I bring to you my January wrap-up. All the books that I read in January. We started this year off good. I read 8 books in January. My goal for the year is 60. So I think Goodreads says I'm 4 ahead of schedule. Feeling good. Nothing is better than logging onto Goodreads and seeing that you're ahead of schedule. Honestly, it's the only thing I need in life. So my first book of January of 2021 as a whole was A Promised Land by Barack Obama. Now this book is hefty. It's like nearly 800 pages. I think I read it in just under a week. I went into this having loved Becoming by Michelle Obama, one of my favorite books of all time. This is definitely different. I would say this one's definitely more focused on the politics, while, let me grab this. So Barack Obama, he is the politician, makes sense that he definitely focuses a lot more on the politics, while Michelle, she focuses more on the kind of family side and like the, I don't want to say the normal side, but like the household stuff and the family stuff compared to the politics stuff. I did find it very interesting though. Obviously I'm not American. A lot of this politics I didn't know because I don't live in America. It doesn't hugely affect me. But it was really interesting to see his writing style. It's very conversational, kind of. Like, it felt like he was sitting and reading you a story. I think he does the audiobook, and I'd be very interested in that. But I think when I looked, it was a stupid amount of hours. Like, the longest audiobook I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, no thanks. But I really enjoyed this. I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. All of my ratings and reviews will be in my Goodreads. I'll link that below. I'd highly recommend this if you're interested in the politics, specifically with the election that's, just happened. We've just got a new president and things. I think it's very interesting to see some of the behind the scenes stuff of that. This is part 1. There's 2 parts of this, which I did not know. If that's part 1, I'm glad they split it up. Part 2 I think is going to be very interesting because it's probably going to deal with Trump. Thank God he's out. The next book I read was an e-arc from NetGalley, so thank you to the publisher and to NetGalley, and it was Love is a Revolution by Renee Watson. So this book follows a young girl called Nala who goes to her cousin, sister, friend's open mic night, falls in love with a boy, but is wrapped up in lies, and there's lots of family drama. It's a really nice, kind of easy YA read. It also has a plus size rep and POC rep, and it is Own Voices, I believe. This book comes out on the 2nd of February, so if you're interested, be sure to check it out. I rated this book a 3 out of 5, I think. It was just very simple. It's definitely the kind of book that you want to read between, say if you've been reading a whole load of fantasy and you want something easy to read. That's definitely the kind of read this is. But it's cute, it is really nice, so if you're interested, check it out. The third book I read this month was Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I'll just say that there were tears, there was happiness, I'm so happy to have read these books now, especially with the Shadow and Bone series coming out in April, I believe. If you haven't read these, I'm sure you've probably heard of them. Six of Crows duology takes place in the Grishaverse. It's a heist fantasy thing. It's with found family, and the 6 main characters are just incredible, and the relationships and the friendships. It's amazing. If you haven't read it and this is the sort of thing you're interested in, read it. Honestly, you will not regret it. I rated this 5 out of 5. I think that's a given. Probably one of the favourites of the year already, and we're 1 month in. The next book I read was also an e-arc, and it was Fable by Adrienne Young. Fable is a 17-year-old girl in this kind of fantasy, pirate-filled world. She's a dredger, so she collects like all these cool jewels from the bottom of the sea, and she is trying to find her father who left her on an island after... Oh, how much of this is spoilers? She's trying to find her father after he left her on an island after a big shipwreck where her mother drowned. It's really interesting. I like the characters. Again, it's a found family, one of my favorites. I just love a found family story. There's some interesting relationships. A lot of the characters are really different and intricate. I think this book has already come out in the US but I think it's about to come out in the UK in print. I'm not sure, but I got it as an e-arc through NetGalley. So be sure to keep an eye out for it. I would highly recommend. I believe the sequel, Namesake, is coming out soon. I am not 100% sure, but I will be keeping an eye out for that one because I'm very interested. The next book I read this month was another e-arc. It's Who is Vera Kelly by Rosalie Knecht. This book follows Vera Kelly, who is a young gay spy in Argentina trying to investigate any uprising of the KGB. I rated this book a 4 out of 5. I found it really interesting. I wish that the gayness was more, but I found it really interesting. It's more of a character study. It's more about learning about this character than the plot of the KGB and things. The next book I read this month was An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. I received this in the Secret Santa that I organised over on TikTok. I received it from Katie, from Katies_books, and I loved it. I think this is definitely a new comfort read for me. I got through it super fast. It's a romance fantasy following Isabel. This book follows Isabel, who is a painter, the best painter in the village, who often paints the fair folk, and Rook, who is the prince of the autumn court. And she ends up making a mistake and she gets whisked away to the fairylands, and it's just so easy to read. I would recommend this if you enjoyed A Court of Thorns and Roses and you want something like that that's not as intense. This is just a standalone. It's, you know, how many pages? It's barely 300 pages. It's definitely more focused on the romance than the sort of fantasy elements, but the fantasy elements are still there. It's still a proper fantasy world. But if you're looking for a little romance, here's your gal. Read this. I rated this, I initially rated it 5 out of 5 because I loved it straight away, and then I bumped it down to a 4 to try and be critical, which I'm not very good at. The next book that I read in January is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This is a young adult contemporary about Mateo and Rufus, who both find out that they are going to die in this day. And they find each other and try and make the most of their last day. I'm going to cry. I read this in a matter of hours. I just sped through it. It was heartbreaking and exciting. It was just perfect. I had read Adam Silvera's book with Becky Albertalli, What If It's Us? And I really enjoyed that. And I really enjoyed this. So maybe Adam Silvera, he might be my guy. You've probably heard of this. Everyone talks about it. I'm late to the game. But if you're looking for a little sad contemporary, please read this. It's really beautiful. The final book that I read this month was Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I previously read this when it was released because I got a super good deal on Book Depository, but I never finished the series. So this was a reread so that I can finish the series. I'm now reading Legendary. That's my current read. But this one, sped through it just like I did the first time. The world, the plot, the characters, it's a game, and you don't know what's real and what's not. It's the perfect escape book. If you just want to spend a weekend pretending that the real world doesn't exist, which I wouldn't blame you at the moment, read this. It's so good that also, look at this. Look how gorgeous this is, because she has a magical dress. Oh my god, and the romance. Ooh. When I first read this, I rated it a 5-star back in 2016, 2017. Now it's a 4-star for me, purely because I try to be more critical nowadays. But I would really recommend this and the whole series, probably. I haven't read it yet, but I'll probably love it, let's be honest. So that is my wrap up for January 2021. Be sure to let me know what you read, if you've read any of these books, if you loved them, if you hate them. Tell me, I'm interested. Here's my wrap up without the ebooks I read. Oh my goodness, this is heavy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!